whiskey, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling the body, got every man in a whiskey, sipping in a broken run. I'm like so at a drunk. It's a freaking a weekend, and baby, I'm about to have some fun.
According to our researchers, again, children daw hindi na ma-master masyado ang English na language dahil marami sa kanila natatakot magkamali.
Oo nga.
But for parents of children with speech problems, we shall give you some tips on this segment. We have with us Grace Lee.
Hello.
Of course. And our special guest also, Tessa Vergara-Yuvienco.
Hi.
Hello, Tessa.
Speech
Welcome
training
to the show.
consultant.
She's a speech training consultant. What are the common speech problems of Pinoy kids?
Well, in terms of pronunciation, the usual problem is the main vowel sounds that the most Filipino kids use, of course, are the Filipino vowel sounds. Filipino vowel and consonant sounds. So the tendency is to use the Filipino vowel sounds and consonant sounds even if they speak an English word. For example,
medyo matigas.
Yes, for example, I was listening earlier to one of the kids saying chocolate. Chocolate, that is your Filipino pronunciation of chocolate, chocolate, because we don't have an O in our Filipino language.
So, paano niyo po ipapronounce ang chocolate?
So it has to be chocolate.
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 Okay, some would say, ang
Ganda.
arte naman. But, you know, that's the correct way to pronounce that word.
Eh, paano po yung may F and B
So the chocolate
nakakabaliktad?
is really considered wrong.
The chocolate.
Yeah, the
chocolate.
Yes.
Pahingi namang chocolate, oh.
Can I have some chocolate? Hindi bagay sa'yo, te?
You know, you have to give justice to the language since you use English, and then you have to pronounce the English word correctly.
What about, Wilma raised a very...
yung mga F and B, di ba?
F and B.
Philippines.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Problem.
Well, number one, it could be, it's because of modeling. The adult that's with a child may also have an F and P.
Ay, mga 55.
Problem.
55 pesos yan.
55, yes. Because that's what they hear.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to say, but also media. Media, when I say media, television, and radio, some of our people in media do not speak the right pronunciation of the English words. So that's what they copy. That's what they hear. That's what they listen to.
Lalo na siguro from media because they think, media man na to. Or,
right.
Diba?
I'm not talking about just pronunciation.
Yes.
That includes grammar too. See?
Grace, what about you growing up? Did you have any problems learning the Tagalog language?
Well, you know, people always ask me because I don't have that Korean accent anymore when I speak English or Filipino. And they always ask me, anong mas mahirap matutunan? Is it the Filipino language or English? And I always say Filipino. Kasi Filipino, you don't realize it. With English, you just have to memorize the word. It's vocabulary-based language. But with Filipino, it's very expressive. Tumalon, tatalon, tumatalon. You have to memorize all that things if you don't learn it as a mother tongue. So when I was younger and I was learning English and Filipino at the same time, not only were the vocabularies my problem, the suffix and the prefix, but also the pronunciation. Kasi tama nga, chocolate, diba? So you say chocolate, you learn the O as O, and then you speak Tagalog, you can't pronounce it like that. So it's like pantalon. You have to be very, yung O sound niya, iba talaga.
Yes, pantalon. You can't say pantalon.
Yeah, you can say pantalon, diba? So it's pantalon. So doon ako medyo, I was confused for a while.
So what's the right way to train kids to speak English? And can a child actually learn even if he or she lives in a non-English speaking household?
Oops.
Not to sound not to sound like we're discriminating.
No.
Is it really possible?
If you would like to your child, especially if it's between 0 and 7 years old, the critical stage, you have to be consistent with the language. So if you want to teach the child English, then be consistent with the English in one sentence. I was telling her earlier.
One sentence.
Yes. So you don't mix the two languages.
It doesn't mean that you can't speak to her or him in Tagalog sometime during the day or English also, it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent with the sentence.
So if you want to teach your child to speak English or English as their crib language, then be consistent with the rules. And that includes the pronunciation, the grammar. Yes, very important.
Si Grace naman brought with her educational toys that could aid the children in learning English. Can you run us through the toys, Grace?
Yes. Actually, you know, when I was looking through the products that we have today, I really wish na meron ako niyan before when I was learning English. Kasi when I was learning English 16 years ago, it was just a book and a cassette tape pa. So these are really, really helpful in learning a second language or even your mother tongue to really correct your pronunciations. So Leaps Are Learning game system, learning skills that you can learn from these toys are letter names, phonics skills, rhyming, spelling, numbers, addition, subtraction, artistic expression, music exploration. So it covers a lot of ideas and a lot of sectors in a kid's development. And of course, we also have My First Lead Pad. What it teaches is phonics skills as well, letters, animal facts, counting, computer skills, which are inclusive of keyboard navigation and mousing. All that covered in each toy for your children.
At yun yung nilalaro ng mga celebrity kids natin ngayon. Okay.
Those gadgets really help, Miss Tessa.
Yes, in a way, but what is important is human intervention.
Yes.
It's always the person who conducts, if you're a parent that you'd like to teach your child how to speak English or Filipino, it's always the human factor that's important.
Okay.
So these are
tools.
good aid.
Yes, yes.
Good aid to children.
Yes,
And
but you
also have
can't
your
rely
internet.
on them
Yeah.
fully.
That's true.
Okay, thank you very much. Makakasama pa rin natin sila Miss Tessa and si Grace later on in the show. I'd like to thank the kids.
Thank you, kids!
Ella and Sam.
Ella, Sam, and Crisita. Yan, hayaan mo lang sila dyan maglaro, te.
Is being multilingual an advantage? We will find out after the break. Stay with us.
I'm like so on a drum. It's a freaking weekend and baby I'm about to have some fun.
Ngayon, nag-aaral ka ng English.
Opo.
Bakit?
Pangarap ko, stewardess. Gusto ko sa Jezabel.
Wala pang hapon na isda dito. You